because hand sanitizer is that sort of product that you always carry with you. You never think about it, but the easiest way to stay healthy is to keep your hands clean.
Hello and welcome to Starting Small. My name is Cameron Nagle, and what you're about to hear is a resilient story to an entrepreneur's journey over the brand that we know and consume today. At Starting Small, I believe that everyone has a story to tell under one philosophy. Everyone starts small. Even these founders have once started where you are, in their parents' kitchen, basement, out of a wagon, and many more. At Starting Small, we discuss the strategies used, the obstacles overcome, and the successes of an entrepreneur's journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Starting Small, and make sure to leave a review to let us know how you enjoyed it. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Starting Small. Today, I'm joined by Andrea Lisbona of Touchland. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I'd like to start out with your upbringing. Where did you grow up, and what would you say your childhood was like?
Sure. So as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from here. I'm from Barcelona. I was born and raised in an entrepreneurial family. So I think that was part of the reason why I ended up launching Touchland. I was raised, my father had a company, and he's been the typical entrepreneur, never stops thinking, never stops dreaming. So I was raised with this sort of environment where taking risk is the normal and you don't need to be scared about failing. I studied business administration in ESADE, which is a very good business school. And then I love fashion. I love design. So I studied after that a fashion design course because I'm always super interested in how design plays a key role into people's mindset and how it makes things easier to use and all that.
For sure. So growing up, when you say that you had an entrepreneurial mindset, you said your father's background, of course. Did you ever get to help him in any of his businesses, or what was that like? Lemonade stands as well?
Yeah, well, of course, being with him, I've always internships and all that. I try to help him every summer, give him my ideas. And I think Touchland also started as a part of that journey. In 2008, Europe went through a very hard economic crisis. And at that time, I was studying fashion design, and I felt like I wanted to help the business of the family because we were not going through a very good time, like most of the companies. And so I decided to start Touchland because I wanted somehow to support my family. I decided to do it separate from his own business because we're both very strong-minded. So I wanted to help, but in my own terms. So that's why I decided to create my own company, and I wasn't scared at all about flying solo and sort of leading a company as he did when I was a kid.
For sure. I'm curious in this transition, prior to Touchland and maybe following your school years as well, did you work any other jobs, maybe in fashion, before you led to this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I did a lot of internships and all that. I work at a fashion communication agency. I work as a marketing in a company that manufactured lockers. I actually did an internship at Master Lock in Paris when I was, I think, 20 something. Yeah. So always very, very interested in marketing, branding, and how that shapes people's purchase behaviors.
For sure. So following this time, you mentioned this was really to help your family out during this time period where you're from. What was the inspiration to go into the sanitizer space specifically, especially coming from a fashion background? What was that inspiration?
Yeah. So I'm a skincare lover, and I always have admired how companies like Apple, Dyson, Nespresso have taken commoditized, antiquated categories, and they have reinvented it through design and experience. I always say I would not be drinking coffee every day if I had to warm the coffee machine as my grandparents did for 30 minutes until they could enjoy their coffee. So I decided to go on the hand sanitizer space because my goal is I'm a person that believes that every day should be lived to the fullest. And I think that we have so many moments in our day-to-day personal care moments, routines that are commoditized, mundane, boring. And we wanted to elevate those daily personal care routines into rituals of skincare. One of my favorite moments in the day is at night when you get to have that skincare ritual where you wash your face and all that. That brings me peace. Yeah. And that makes me happy. So we wanted to do the same with hand sanitizer. Reason being is because hand sanitizer is that sort of product that you always carry with you. You never think about it, but the easiest way to stay healthy is to keep your hands clean. So we wanted to create something that was actually exciting, smells great, doesn't smell like tequila, it's not sticky, and that makes people, through a great experience, want to keep their hands clean and therefore being more healthy.
I'm curious, in those early days, what did the prototyping process look like when you were trying to create the design and the product that you wanted? Did that look different from launch, your first products, or that it looks like today? Or what did that look like, R&D?
So when we started in 2010, we started distributing hand sanitizers. And I think that's not a traditional route for entrepreneurs. I feel like sometimes you have a very clear idea of what customers want and all that. For us, like I'm very interested into learning what people think, what people feels about categories and products before I take my own assumptions. So we distributed hand sanitizer solutions for 40 years, talked to many nurses that use hand sanitizers like 100 times a day. And they would say, hey, my skin rips off. I have to carry a hand cream like to compensate like how this damages my skin. We talked to businesses and they said like, I have this in the entrance of my lobby of the hotel, but it's always broken. We never know when the refill is running low. So all of this feedback really helped us launch our first series of product. The design and the aesthetics were the same, but they evolved over time industrially. Because again, like I think like the biggest challenge that startups has is that it's hard to develop a product for a Procter & Gamble than for a startup. And therefore you don't have the resources. You can look for partners that help you overcome those challenges because again, our expertise was branding, strategy, and understanding the market needs.
For sure. I'm curious, without really a sanitizer background prior, where did you look for manufacturers, especially for formulating the correct hand sanitizer that you wanted, especially differentiating from competitors? So what did that look like in the early days, finding a partner that you wanted to manufacture?
Yeah, so in regards of the formula, I'm again a very experience-driven person. So experience was the most important. Like at the end of the day, it's an industry where we're limited by the sort of active ingredient that you need to use in order to keep your hands clean and kill 99.9% of germs. You have to have 60-70% of alcohol. So that already is the start of the formula. But for us, it was like such a long development process because we wanted a formula that was fast absorbing, but at the same time hydrating. Hydrating normally means sticky. So finding the balance between hydration, fast absorbing, non-sticky, and all that, it takes us a lot of like a little bit of this, a little less of that. And until we really found a formula that was like, wow. And I think that when we play with the scents, which I think is such an important part of the Touchland experience, we partner with Givaudan Perfume House. And I think scents are magical because they trigger your memories, nostalgia, like they bring back emotions. So we partner with them and they develop amazing scents. And people just say, like we recently launched a scent called Beach Cocoa, and then you spray it on your hands. And not only does not smell like alcohol, but it actually makes you feel like you're sitting on a beach, enjoying a pina colada under the sun. And I think that's the most exciting part about building products. It's like waking up these emotions that people like was looking forward to experience.
Yeah, not only does Touchland have like such a unique scent and aroma side, but you guys have such an amazing design that completely differentiates you guys from competitors. I'm curious, what's the inspiration behind such a simplistic, modern, and beautiful design that you guys have with your products? What was the inspo behind that?
Yeah, so the process was very long to come up with this. I'm someone that always likes to gather insights from people that it's actually outside of the industry. So I had friends that were designing by car companies. And then like, if you think of like big design companies like Apple, whenever they design their products, they have like a design parameter called the golden ratio, which is the divine proportion, which is you're not walking around the world and saying, well, this car has a golden ratio or all that, but it's a sort of design parameter that the human eye simply reacts better. And it's like aesthetically pleasing. That's why people say it's Touchland, it's aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. So we applied that golden ratio to everything that we did, like the products, the logo, everything. If you Google golden ratio, Apple golden ratio, even Twitter logo, like all of them, they have like applied this sort of design to make it look aesthetically pleasing and to the human eye.
Mm. So at launch then, what did the main marketing strategies look like that worked for Touchland, especially being in like an age-long industry with hand sanitizer? I'm sure it was hard at the early days. What was your main marketing strategies?
So I think like the most important that people needs to know is like when you really want to reinvent a
Mhm.
category, you cannot just simply change the product. And I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest problem that companies has, like especially Touchland. We've had 2,000 patent infringements. We've had a lot of companies that copied our sort of product, our
Mm.
sort of marketing. But I do think that if you want to really be a game changer, you have to change the game in all the ways. So it's not just
Mm.
about the product. It's about how you communicate, how you place it, how you push it. So for example, like for us, like our sales strategy, which is part of the marketing strategy, the easiest route would have been to sell it in pharmacies and supermarkets. But Touchland, I always say it's a lifestyle brand that happens to sell hand sanitizer and not the other way around.
Yeah.
We are a brand that straddles the lines between fashion, personal care, and beauty.
Mm.
So we started selling in places where no one had bought hand sanitizers before. So you could find it at Ulta Beauty, you could find it in Urban Outfitters,
Mm.
Sephora, you can find it in Bloomingdale's, like places that you go there to buy shoes or an outfit or like
Mm.
a serum for your face. And I think that was part of like changing people's mindset about like, okay, this is not hand sanitizer, this is Touchland.
Yeah.
Other things that we did is like our marketing strategy in social. We present ourselves as a lifestyle brand, but also everything that we do, we operate as a fashion beauty brand. So we partner with content creators. We look for lifestyle, fashion, beauty creators. We do anything from like an activation. It has to be through the lenses of a fashion beauty brand.
Yeah.
So all of that put together is not just one initiative. It's like literally
Yeah.
everything that you do has to be thoughtfully purposed towards this strategy. So I think that has been part of the success. And then again, I always say you can build the most amazing product, but since day one, since we launched in 2018, I think the most exciting part has been the community reaction. And I think that happens to 1 in a million. We've had such a big viral coefficient. Someone that buys Touchland literally and use the word convert,
Yeah.
which is a religious term, but it's like you convert 20 people around you. And like if you own it, you have the need to say to your parents, hey, have you tried this? You need to try this. It's gonna change your life. And this sort of effect has really created this hype for the brand. And you go on TikTok, we have over 30 million views on hashtag Touchland, people
Wow.
creating videos of matching my outfit with Touchland. I think that's the magic about what we've been able to do.
That's amazing. I know it's such a universal product that everyone can benefit from and use. But I'm curious, can you depict maybe any main demographic that you might have found from your marketing or consumers?
Definitely. I think like our brand, like our early adopters are consumers of social media because that's where they see the brand. They are like, what is this? I need to have it. So Gen Zs and millennials definitely are our main target demographic. That being said, Touchland is for everyone. And I think that's
Yeah.
the beauty. It's like owning an iPhone. There's not really a target demographic.
Yeah.
Whoever loves design and loves experience, they want to have an iPhone, and you can have 90 years old or 10 years old. It's about like what you look for things that you purchase. And
Yeah.
that's a common denominator.
Mhm. I've been excited to kind of find out more about this avenue. Once 2020 hit, I'm curious, you guys launched pre-COVID, obviously. What did that look like? I know the hand sanitizer space specifically had drawn such demand, such focus, but Touchland being an existing market, being an aesthetic product, what did your business model, if you don't mind sharing, like how did that change once 2020 hit? Did you see like a drastic change in demand, and how did you maintain inventory as well?
So we were very successful from the very beginning. When we launched in 2018, we launched with a Kickstarter campaign, was fully funded in 24 hours.
Wow.
We grew in the first 2 years 4,000%. So for
Wow.
us, we were having an amazing growth, being VC backed, and all that. And then when the pandemic came in, for us, I think it was everyone thinks that this is a good thing for a hand sanitizer brand. In our case, it was not, because we were
Mm.
doing really good, and then suddenly this category became like insane.
Mm.
So many brands popping every day. Everyone that was doing anything not related to hand sanitizer launched a hand sanitizer brand. So for us, to be honest, we're building a brand like Apple, like Dyson, like Nespresso. We want to be here in the next 20, 30 years.
Yes.
So our plans is like, how do we overcome this moment in time, which it's unfortunate. Everyone was like price gouging, like we remained focused on like being at the price that we offer from the very beginning. We donated product to for frontline workers, because at the end of the day, like many people was like, how do we maximize the profit? For us, it's like, how do we do the right thing? And for us, like when you see like frontline workers that didn't have hand sanitizer to fight COVID in hospitals, we could not turn our back, because like we are a people power brand. Yeah. So for us, it was really like, how do we overcome this situation? And I think one very interesting fact from it is we are a brand that built a 56,000 people wait list. We offer pre-orders, and we had so many people like that pre-order product knowing that they would receive in 3 months. Therefore, they were not even buying it for the pandemic. They buy it because they trusted Touchland. So for us, in a moment like we relaunched the brand in August 2021, in a moment where the category is decreasing by 6% and all that. So we relaunched the brand in a very hard time, because retailers are flooded with hand sanitizer that it's not selling. And everyone is tired to talk about hand sanitizer and masks. And I think that's the beauty about Touchland, that we relaunched the brand. We secured 4,000 retail doors in a moment where the brand is decreasing. And what's most exciting about this is like, we consider ourselves a fashion beauty brand, a lifestyle brand. And we were able to secure premium retail doors like Ulta, Sephora, and so on. And we're actually selling faster than most beauty brands. So we do not sell as a hand sanitizer. We do not act as hand sanitizer, and the metrics speak by themselves. Yeah. So therefore, like while everyone might think that pandemic for Touchland was a good thing, for us, it was more like a period of time that really struggled for us, because we were doing something very honorable 10 years before. And then like this sort of like craziness of everyone price gouging and all that, like put us all in the same basket. And we've done everything we had to do, thinking 10, 20, 30 years from now, because definitely we were not here for the pandemic. We believe that personal care, like keeping your hands clean, it helps you not fall sick, not about COVID, but like any stomachache, anything. Yeah. It travels through your hands and you don't realize, you touch your mouth, and then there you go. So for us, it's building solutions that keep people healthy on the go.
For sure. So with so much success in the recent years, I'm curious, can you depict maybe a top seller, if that's a specific scent or a color? What would that be if you have an idea?
Okay, so we have different collections. So our like main collection is the Power Mist. And the best seller is the Wild Watermelon. And I don't know if that's related to Harry Styles' Watermelon Sugar song or what is it, but definitely everyone loves it. And it's a scent that also in retailers like Ulta and Sephora, like products that have watermelon scents are very successful. Then we launched in October 2021 a collaboration with Disney, which was our first brand collaboration, and it was incredibly successful. Amazing. We partner with like putting the DNA of like two brands that really are driven to deliver joy. So that was a very, very exciting partnership. And then we recently launched the Glow Mist, which is the world's first rejuvenating hand sanitizer mist. Wow. And this has also been an amazing success, sold out at Sephora in 2 weeks. And people really love that we continue to create more skincare forward formulations.
It's incredible. Well, I like to conclude each episode with this. If you could share one piece of advice with an aspiring entrepreneur, maybe something you've learned or regret, what would you say that would be?
So I think like if everyone would define me in one word, it is perseverance, because we have gone through a lot of life and death situations. And while one in a million survive, and it's not because I'm better than anyone, or it's just I never give up. And I believe and follow my gut a lot. So sometimes like you have a goal, but you have to adjust the sails. It's not about like a boat going the same direction. Potentially, like if something doesn't work, you can find another route to get there. So I think while it's very typical to answer perseverance, I think that's what makes a true entrepreneur, because it's going to work every day, extinguishing fires constantly. You're celebrating 1 minute and the minute after you're thrown a major issue. So you have to have a very strong mindset. And as Steve Jobs said, you have to be very crazy, because no one sane would choose this way of living, but I would do it all over again, because it's been such an amazing journey.
For sure. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for joining me today. And to the listeners out there, make sure to check out Touchland at touchland.com.